We are at quorum now, and I have started the recording.
Okay, we are at quorum, and I will call this previously warned public meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. The agenda today consists exclusively of two stipulation agreements that you've been sent in advance, and on the also duly warned agenda. At this point, I'll ask, are there any additions or modifications to the agenda anybody would like to propose? I have none. Okay, then moving ahead, we'll move to our first order of business, stipulation agreement 2025 AV in the case of Bradley Penniman. And I will turn to Councilor McManus for any a briefing on this for the council.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Council, and any members of the public who might be here. Docket 2025 AV is a Category B second offense unprofessional conduct violation. As the Council, I'm sure, recalls, the Council is allowed to take action on a second Category B offense. Mr. Penniman had a Category B first finding and had notice of that. And that information is provided on page 2 in the footnote. This second Category B offense involves, the allegation was that he proceeded to cross into New Hampshire during a motor vehicle traffic stop without the legal right to do so, which was a substantial deviation of professional conduct as defined by his law enforcement agency's policy. Mr. Penniman was working for the Brattleboro Police Department at the time. Brattleboro Police Department, in their professional conduct and responsibilities, section 4, has a rule that personnel shall not commit or omit any acts which is a violation of department rules, regulations, directives, or assignments. In addition, that personnel shall not commit or omit any act which is a violation of state, federal, or local law on or off duty. As some council members may not be aware, but I will give you a little background. Law enforcement officers may continue to conduct a traffic stop into New Hampshire if the officer has observed a felony in progress or had articulable, suspicion of a person driving under the influence while in Vermont prior to the traffic stop. If there's a reciprocal agreement between the agency and New Hampshire. Brattleboro Police Department had a reciprocal agreement with Chesterfield Police Department. However, absent the observation of a felony or DUI in Vermont, an officer from the Brattleboro Police Department can only continue with the traffic stop in New Hampshire if a senior officer on duty in Chesterfield Police Department requested that assistance. In the situation involving Mr. Penniman, he had observed a taillight out on the vehicle and was trying to pull the vehicle over, and the vehicle went onto the bridge heading over into New Hampshire, crossed over into New Hampshire, and Officer Penniman continued the traffic stop, and that included a search. The internal investigation from his department found that he had violated, Brattleboro Police Department's professional conduct and responsibility policy. The subcommittee found that the evidence presented supported that and that this was a substantial deviation of professional conduct. The subcommittee recommended in this situation that a written warning would be a sufficient sanction for this violation. Mr. Penniman has acknowledged that the facts presented to you support if this went to a hearing before the council, that the council could find that he violated a Category B second offense and that the council could sanction him. Mr. Penniman and myself ask that the council accept this agreement as a resolution to his case.
Thank you, Counselor. Any questions for the counselor on this? Sheriff Anderson, I see your hand up.
Not a question, but the potential for perceived conflict of interest. My department responded to assist Brattleboro PD in this incident. We were only involved in a mutual aid capacity to Brattleboro PD and cleared. We had no further involvement with it and did talk with Brattleboro PD when it evolved. Our involvement was appropriate, but just want to put that out if anyone would feel appropriate that I recuse myself.
Thank you, Sheriff Anderson, for bringing that to our attention. I'm going to check with Lindsay because we do need to maintain a quorum. Where are we on our quorum for actions today?
It would be okay if you're abstaining.
Okay, I think in the interest of simply full disclosure that Sheriff Anderson, we would accept your recusal on this matter. The council will be then fully constituted to act in this case. In particular, will be, just as a reminder, we'll be voting to accept the stipulation agreement as described by Councilor McManus. Are there any further observations or questions? I think it was fairly straightforward in the documentation that was provided what the situation is. Okay, hearing none, then I will accept a motion to accept the stipulation agreement as presented. Shall we get a motion? Looking for a motion?
Mr. Chair,
oh, go ahead. I heard a voice.
It was Karen Tronscott Scott, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to make that motion, but I don't believe that I can because I'm a member of the Professional Regulation Committee. So I invite other members who are not part of that committee, that subcommittee, to make the motion. I think Tom Jeanette was trying to do that.
Yes, thank you for clarification.
Yes.
Now, Tom?
Yes, I will. I'll make the motion to accept the.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and then we have a second. Okay, now for the vote, all of those in favor of accepting the motion signify by saying aye and or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I see hands going up and ayes. I think we've surpassed by my count. Is that correct, Lindsay?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. And for the record, any of those opposed signify as well. Okay, seeing none, the motion passes and the stipulation has been agreed as proposed. The second case involves stipulation agreement 2024 key 3P in the case of James Hemmond. I will also turn that over to Councilor McManus for a summary again of the materials presented to us. Councilor?
Thank you, Chair. The second stipulated agreement and consent order before you today is a Category C violation. Category C conduct is defined as misconduct pertaining to council process or operations. Specific to this case, Category C conduct includes the knowing employment of an individual in a position or for duties for which the individual lacks proper certification. The allegation against Sheriff Hemmond is that he knowingly allowed a level 2 provisional officer to work without the direct supervision and control of a fully certified Vermont law enforcement officer, violating 20 VSA 24013F. Sheriff Hemmond had a situation where a provisional level 2 officer had potentially a conduct violation Sheriff Hemmon reported that violation and at the same time self-reported that he believed that he may have been in violation of potentially a Category C violation. The council investigated the matter and the facts that were presented to the subcommittee were that a provisional officer was working in the courthouse with a level 3 officer, but regularly was left without direct supervision and control. The level 2 provisional officer was at the entrance of the courthouse, and the level 3 officer was regularly in a courtroom or near a courtroom, often on a different floor of the court building. The subcommittee found that this evidence was sufficient to find a Category C violation for, again, knowingly employing an individual in a position or for duties for which the individual lacked proper certification. The subcommittee recommended that Sheriff Hemmon receive a written warning and that he also attend the scope of authority training that is conducted during level 2 basic training, and that training be completed by June 30th, 2025. This will give Sheriff Hemmond 2 opportunities to attend that training, either the March training or the June training. Sheriff Hemmond found this agreement acceptable and was willing to enter into this agreement to resolve this case. And I would ask the council to consider accepting the stipulated agreement and consent order.
Thank you, Councilor McManus. Again, the details of the stipulation and the letter are in the materials. I think fairly straightforward. And in this case, then I will, if there are a motion to accept the stipulation agreement, I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
So moved by Sheriff Anderson. Second.
I second Amanda.
I will second.
Second by Amanda. Okay, we have a second by Amanda. All of those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Hearing none, I believe, and I've confirmed with Lindsay, the motion passes. The stipulation agreement is accepted. Okay, thank you for your work on that. That concludes our formal agenda for today. I know it was fairly quick for whatever other issues that, and I know there's a lot of work going on about the level 2. I don't want to go back into that case, but I know that we have staffing issues and situations that can emerge that we're working on addressing. The big item, I guess, the next in terms of the general discussion. Well, I skipped a session here. There's a public session. If there are any public members we had in attendance that had any comments to make. Okay, hearing none. I'll move back to the general discussion and the conclusion of our meeting. The big event for us next week, I'm in the right week, right? Next week's Thanksgiving is graduation, and for the most current class in the academy. And I don't know if Director Raquel, I've seen him on here. I can't tell in the screen that I have if there are any updates or anything that we should be aware of. Certainly urge folks to attend. I know I'll be attending, and I know there are probably a few other council members who indicated that they would attend. Lindsay had sent out an announcement last week with the 10 a.m. the date. I think we know where the location is at the police academy. Is Chris? I see Chris on there, but
I am here.
Oh, there you go. Do you have any words of wisdom or updates for us on the graduation?
On graduation, no. Graduation will be Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We would welcome any council members or members of the public that can attend. That would be great. It's just a good show of support for council staff working here, as well as the graduating class. We did hear from the governor's office. I don't believe he will be able to attend this one, but is looking forward to a future graduation. We may get some indication by way of letter from the governor's office, but we'll wait to see if that happens within the time. And that was merely a scheduling conflict that happened for the governor's office. If I can, for just a couple minutes while I have the floor, I would rather, I wasn't planning on doing it today, but for those of you that can see some of the faces on here, you might note that we have a new member attending this matter today. Her name is Lisa Ryan. She is our newest addition to staff here as our Community Inclusion Director. For those of you that don't know Lisa, you will get to know her fairly soon. We're really excited about her working here. It's only day 2, and she's just getting her feet wet right now. So perhaps at our next council meeting, we'll have a little more detail about Lisa, but Lisa, I would just open the floor to you if you'd like to just say hello or introduce yourself while you're here.
Sure. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Lisa Ryan. I am very excited to be here and to be in this position. Like Chief Brickell said, it's my second day, so getting used to some things, a tad overwhelmed, but everybody's been so supportive of me in this onboarding process. And I'll just give a quick background. I live in Rutland. I grew up in Rutland, and previous to taking this position, I was the Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Vermont Law and Graduate School for about 2.5 years. So I'm really excited to kind of be back in the community and working with communities across the state. And I look forward to working with all of you on the council as well. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Lisa. And for those of us that'll be at the graduation next week, we'll see you there.
Sounds great.
You'll have a whole week. You'll have a week under your belt at that
Yeah.
point, so you'll be an expert. Plenty to do. Any other announcements for the or comments for the good of the order?
We
Yeah,
do
I
have.
think we. Oh, go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Chris.
Chair. I think we do have one order that I wasn't really planning on discussing today, but it's worth mentioning because we'll tee up the documents and the conversation prior to the next council meeting. But we will have a policy for the council to review that will be coming to us from the Department of State's attorneys and sheriffs. They were required to come up with a policy on compensation for sheriffs, and they are required by statute to consult with the council on what that policy entails and the details behind that. So Kim and I met briefly last year with both Sheriff Marcoux and Annie Noonan from the Department of State's attorneys and sheriffs. And we met again with Annie last week, and they're making some final changes to that document. So once those changes are done and we get that for review, we'll send that out to the council and we'll have that as part of the discussion at the next council meeting. Kim, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, just an awareness that it's coming, and that many council members may not recall because it's been a while. So that'll be coming to you via email, and just take a look at that before the December meeting.
Great. So we'll keep an eye on that and have that distributed in advance with the other material. Sheriff Anderson.
Also just want to add some clarification of why that policy is coming here. Through Act 30, the legislature wanted the people who oversee law enforcement to review the policy, and that made sense for the council. So I've had other council members ask, why is it coming to us? That just made sense to the legislature. We felt it made sense with other groups who deal with compensation, but the legislature deferred to the council. So that's why. Also, while I have the floor, I just want to put out that The level 2 curriculum committee will be pushing out recommendations, short-term recommendations, and we'll just ask for people to key into that once the written documents come out.
Great. Thanks very much. And we'll be looking for all of those. Looks like we have a fairly full agenda on the 1st of December. So we'll stay tuned for that. Having no other announcements, I can let you back to your work today. I think we've concluded our business, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sheriff Anderson, I was counting on you. Okay.
I'll second.
Motion seconded and motion accepted by acclaim. The meeting is now adjourned, and we will see you on December 4th, if the date is correct. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
care,
you.
everybody.
everyone.
Hey.